Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. What's up, and welcome back to another day here in the crypto market. Well, I think most of us can agree that this morning feels a little bit better than most mornings have over the last couple of days. And in today's quick live stream, what I wanted to do is I want to just walk through what's happening in the crypto market right now, exactly why this is so sweet and so good, and exactly what I'm going to be doing as of now. As you all know, the crypto market has been in a bit of a little bit of a weird spot recently, right? We saw that big pullback, we saw recovery, we saw another pullback, and people were freaking out, people were worried, people were concerned. But while people were freaking out, while people were concerned, what did we do? We jumped in, we did our purchases, we did our swing trades, and we were able to lock in dozens of percentages of profit just in the last week when most people were generating unrealized losses or realized losses. So congratulations first and foremost to all of you who made it to today. Look, I know these last couple of days have been quite rough, and some people just say, you know what, I'm done with crypto. And listen, there's going to be more moments like that in the future, but today, in this moment right now, the market's up. It looks pretty all right, and I think most of us can celebrate because of that. So with that in mind, again, what I want to do is I want to talk to you all about exactly what is happening now that we seemingly are in a little bit of a safer position here in the crypto market, and I'll walk you guys through everything I'm looking at when it comes to Bitcoin, the market, ETH, XRP, Solana, and much more. So hopefully you can leave today's live stream with a full update, a full overview of what's happening behind the scenes in the crypto market and exactly what you can be watching over the next few days. So if you do feel like you get that value, I'm not asking for it now, but if you do feel like you get that value by the end of the stream, all that I do ask is you smash that like button, as it does help the channel out a lot. But first and foremost, thank you everybody who's in here today. Happy to see you all in here. Wisdom, what's up? Moonlit, I see you. Chris, Grubby, John, Steven, SYM. Sim, what's up, homie? Long time. The Milkman, Immigration Advice. Santiago, Corey Pierce, Vitali. How are we doing, everyone? Love to see you. Love to have you in here. Let's get into it. So, as I mentioned before, the crypto market itself in a pretty interesting spot here, right? You look at the last day, and most cryptos are up anywhere from 5 to 10%, being led by a lot of our favorites here. We got Pingu smashing, Sui smashing, Virtual smashing, Link, LDO, Algo, Floki, all in a great moment of recovery. Now, at the end of the day, I will say this is still recovery because if you look at the week, most cryptos are still negative on the week, but ever so slightly. And I do believe that what we're in right now could definitely start to pull these gains back into the profit side and continue this macro uptrend that we've been in for the last month. And obviously, the last year is starting to look pretty juicy here, especially on the 1 to 100 charts. Now, what's also interesting is that today we're actually seeing a lot of movement from some of our smaller cryptos as well. Like if we go to say 500 to 600, look at the 500 to 600 guys. We got MemeFi, ETN, God, Serve, Siren, many of them popping. We got 800 to 900. You can see our good friend Monu smashing it up the last 24 hours, by the way, up over 100 spots, up to $22 million in market cap. And mind you, I told you guys in yesterday's video that I made, while Manu was only roughly at like 13 million, that I was going to be adding this to my speculative bag. And what do you know? Just 24 hours later, this bad boy smashes up over 40%. Absolutely beautiful gains. Stuff that you love to see there. Okay. Now, outside of this, though, again, the market is looking pretty good. And you know why the market's looking good? Because Bitcoin's looking good. What I've told you all consistently is that Bitcoin is in control of this market right here, right now, today. And you have to be watching it closely. And so over the last week, what have we been watching? We've been watching this. This descending channel has been the primary focus of my YouTube videos and live streams for about 6 or 7 days straight. And the reason being is because I've told you what Bitcoin does in here will tell you everything you need to know. And we read this like a book. We read this like a book. And I'm not trying to talk my shit or whatever. But at the end of the day, most analysts were calling for the breakdown. Most analysts were saying that Bitcoin was now going to start to see the macro structure break down to sub 100. And although that is possible, it is a lot less likely. And it's a lot less likely exactly for the reasons that we said, because I told you, Bitcoin is in a descending channel. Most people are not talking about this still. It is a descending channel. That's what this is. And these are incredibly difficult to break to the downside. And even if Bitcoin does break to the downside, there are still macro zones of support which we laid out that can push the price back into the channel and continue this move. And what did Bitcoin do? It broke down. It found support at the channel. It used that support to push upwards. What did we do? We bought Bitcoin as it made this low, right around $112.2 thousand. We took profits off that bad boy right when it swung back up towards $115.3 thousand. Then Bitcoin's price pulls back. And then what did we do? I went live and I told you guys, look, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to buy right now. I'm going to be buying some Bitcoin. I opened up a long trade on Bitcoin. Where? Right here at $112.6 thousand. Rode that puppy all the way up. If you actually do go check out the Discord channel, what you can see is profit taken on the heavy Bitcoin trade. As you can see here, I did make a post previously on, let's see, August 5th. I said I just did a heavy dollar cost average with a 1% stop loss set due to the sheer size of the purchase, a very, very big purchase of Bitcoin. And what happened? We rode that puppy all the way from down around 112,000 or 112.6K all the way up towards 116K, smashed that bad boy. And if you do look, that is a pretty decent gainer. Obviously not the craziest gains, right? But a pretty beautiful gain of 3.5% all over the course of a couple days. And this was a mid 5-figure size purchase on Bitcoin. So obviously some pretty sizable gains there. Okay, we're talking 4-figure-ish roughly gains there. So, or 3-figure gains. Sorry. So no, 4-figure gains. Yeah, something along those lines. Whatever. But anyway, so yeah, looking very good. Obviously, love to see it. I mean, it was a fantastic move. And now Bitcoin's price has made the move that we've been hoping for. In the last video that I made for you all just yesterday, I told you that Bitcoin's making a massive move and you need to be prepared for it. You know what was funny is that in that video, Bitcoin's price was only like right around here. It was only like right around here. And everyone's like, Tyler, this isn't a massive move. Like, do I need to get my eyes checked? Bitcoin's not moving at all. I'm like, let me cook. And what do you know? Bitcoin's price makes that run back into the black zone, pushing up, breaking through the 50% zone. Now officially canceling this fake out that we saw right here. So the main point and the main reason we've been watching Bitcoin so closely over the last couple of days is because Bitcoin threatened something really dramatic. Okay. When Bitcoin's price fell out of this descending channel, what it threatened was that it was going to start to try to head back down towards $103,000. It was going to try to come back down towards this yellow box. And obviously I told you guys that is a possibility, but I'm betting on a reversal. I'm betting that Bitcoin's price will try to find some support and push back into this channel rather than actually break to the downside, because it's just such a rare thing to happen, especially in bull markets, for Bitcoin to break through the downside of these channels. And what we did is we went in, and as I mentioned before, we bought on it. And then we just tracked it. I mean, we had to just track it. And I said, look, us getting back in this channel is good, but there's a couple things that needs to happen. Bitcoin's price needs to use the support, get back in the channel, come back down, find a higher low of support, then use that support to break above this 50% line right here. And if it does that, this was indeed just a fake out, because we've now established a micro uptrend that should give us enough room, unless Bitcoin, just absolutely nukes it, which will be very difficult for it to do. It's possible, but it's much less likely. Now we're talking 15% chance here, 10, 15, 20% chance. Somewhere in that realm. I'd say we have like a 70, 80% chance that Bitcoin's price maintains within this descending structure until it tries to eventually break to the upside of it. That's what I think is going to happen. And that's kind of the game that I'm playing here, right? And so all in all, what we were watching very closely is that when Bitcoin's price did decide to rally all the way back up here, and then it started to pull back, what I told you guys was, listen, sorry, I keep checking this just to make sure it's all look good. But what I told you all whenever we rallied up here was like, wait for the pullback. I told you guys the very next thing you need to do, wait for the pullback. What does Bitcoin do? It pulls back, comes back down. We open up the long trade. We open up the swing trade. It comes up. I told you, don't get too caught off guard yet. Let it break this 50% threshold. What then happens? Bitcoin gets rejected, comes back down, boom, breaks the 50% threshold. This move that we've seen this morning has now officially canceled this move right here. This is indeed just a fake out and increases our likelihood of being able to maintain within this descending channel, if not push up towards the top side, if not break out of it sometime in the future. Now, what's next? And I think that's what a lot of people wonder. What's next? Okay, well, Bitcoin's price fake this out here. Most people freaked out and opened up short trades or closed their positions. We bought in, we went long, we generated profit. Now what? Right? And it sucks that we can't just relish in our victories, right? We can't just enjoy the victories. No, there's always like the next move, right? There's always like the next trade. So a lot of you are wondering what next. And so today, what we're going to do now to kind of push this little bad boy forward. Sorry, I'm going to just get the chat pulled up here on my phone so I can see you guys if you need anything. All right, there we go. All right, now I have the chat next to me. I don't need to check the stream. But anyway, so the next thing, right? What happens next? That's what we're going to focus on today. So we're going to jump now into, okay, what are we watching now? how does what happens next impact the rest of the crypto market? And exactly what am I doing right now? That's kind of what we're going to do the next 20, 30 minutes on. Okay. Now, before we get into that, guys, I will say, as you guys know, I am partnered up with CoinX and I talk about them here on these live streams a ton. And they actually just announced a very, very big promotion that you guys can take advantage of if you use the CoinX link down below. It's the second link in the description right under my playbook link. Okay. So go down there, check it out. But you can get some really easy rewards today. Okay. So what you can see is they have $100 up for grabs. $100 right now that you can get today up for grabs. And it's very simple. All you need to do is you need to be able to deposit and accumulate a total of 50 USDT to receive 10 USDT cash back. If you get up to 200, then you'll get 20 USDT cash back. 500, you'll get 30 USDT cash back. And 5,000 up to 40 USDT cash back. This is literally just signing up, depositing, little bit of moving around, little bit of trading, and getting $100 cash back. Boom, just like that. CoinX does one of the best jobs that I've ever seen at putting together campaigns that can benefit everyone. If you're a whale, if you trade a lot of volume, this is just easy gains for you. Okay, I mean, this is the easy gains. You can just get an easy $100. If you're new to crypto, this is an easy way for you to make some small steps in to get your feet wet a little bit and still start generating some results because you get this $100. It's easy ROI. It's easy return. So if you are interested in that, check out the link down below. I am, again, going to put it as the second link down in the description below. Feel free to go check it out. It's very simple. It's very easy. You can get your rewards extremely quickly. So check out that link down below. Let me know what you think. Okay, now, what's next? Okay, what's next? So I'm not going to lie, guys. What is next here in the crypto market is not as exciting as you may think, but it is still exciting. Okay, it is still exciting. It's not that exciting, but it is still exciting. And the reason I say that is because Bitcoin now just re-enters into its descending channel structure. So as you all know, what Bitcoin has been in, again, is the descending structure. And it tried to break out of the descending structure and now officially faking out of that breakout. So this wasn't a real attempt at, this wasn't a real breakout. This is now a fake out. Okay, that's what this was. So now Bitcoin just re-enters into its macro structure. It just re-enters back into the descending structure. So what does that mean? Well, it just means that we need to continue to just play this until Bitcoin does eventually try to break out of this thing. So what does the descending structure look like? Well, it just looks like a downtrend. And I know you don't like that, but the truth is Bitcoin might continue to just slowly trend downwards for a while before, I believe, eventually breaking out of the structure and going upwards. Now, that is about it, really. And it sucks because, right, we had so much excitement recently. We had so much excitement with Bitcoin trying to break out here and faking out, coming back down and setting the higher low, right? But there's not really much excitement now. What happens now is Bitcoin goes back to a point of stability, which is a general casual downtrend until it eventually tries to break to the upside of this. And so, well, how do we play that move? Well, we play that move very, very simply. We dollar cost average and buy Bitcoin. By we, I mean me, by the way. We buy Bitcoin and dollar cost average on Bitcoin anytime that it falls into the dark green zone. We buy more if it falls into the light green zone, and then we take profits anytime it bounces off of one of those zones of supports back into the black zone, which is this top 50%. And you can see how that's played out for us. We executed that the first time right here. Bitcoin came down, did a little purchase, did a big purchase, it pushed up, took profits right before the top right there. Then it comes back down. As you all know, we did a little purchase, took profit there, actually a little bit prematurely because this was a fake out. And then we did a long trade right here. We opened up, take profits, boom, and now we took profits here. So we've just been range trading this bad boy easily. And I don't want to say easily to kind of flex, but more in the sense that this is clear as day what it's doing. It's giving you a range, buy support, sell the top until something breaks. And that's exactly what I'm going to continue to do over and over and over again until something changes. Look at the last time we did this, guys. I want you to see this. Look at the last time that we did this. It would have been right back here. And I'll go in and draw this out for you. Boom, boom, right? You can see it multiple times. And I'm not going to draw out the whole thing, obviously, but you can see it. Like, scoop the lows, missed to take profits here. I was out of town. Not going to lie. Not going to lie to you guys. But scoop the lows again here. We start to push towards the top side, take profits. We break out, take the rest of the profits off the table, lock in an easy gain. Buy the lows, sell the highs, do it over and over and over again until something breaks. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're scooping the lows, we're selling the highs over and over and over again until something breaks. Something tried to break right here, but it didn't break. And now it's more likely that the move to the upside could lead us towards a breakout. And so knowing that, I'm going to continue to do the same thing. Right now, for Bitcoin, I am simply not going to do much. I am simply just going to wait right now. I don't buy in the black zone. I don't think it's a good idea because when you're in the black zone, you are consistently putting yourself at risk of buying right before this thing pulls back into the green or the dark green or the light green zone. No, just let this bad boy cook. If it's going to go towards the top side and break out, so so be it. Then we'll know what to do there. We can trade the breakout. That's totally fine. But if it's not going to do that, and if it's going to range here, why would you want to be buying? It's just not a good time. Like, why would you want it to have bought right here, right before this? Like, no one really wants to do that. When you're in a descending channel, your trajectory is downwards. You will always go down. We will always go down while Bitcoin's price is in this descending channel. It may not be fast and it may not be bad, but we will go down until it does not break out. So why would you buy at the top of a channel that's forcing the price downwards? That does not make sense. While you're in the top 50%, just leave it alone. Let it cook. Let it do its thing. If it's going to pull back, great, DCA opportunity. If it's going to push up, great, take profit opportunity. If it's going to break out, great, breakout trade opportunity. That's what you get to do. But right now, while it's in the black zone, just let it do its thing. Let it add liquidity to the market. Let it bring excitement to the market. Let retail come back. Let people start buying. Let that market do its thing. Don't do much right here. Now is not the time for leverage trades. Now is not the time for big purchases or big sales. Now is not the time for anything major. Now is the time to wait. The big moves were to be made back here. That's why we opened up a long trade here. It's why we bought heavy right here. Now we're taking profits and letting this market do its thing while all of the newer people jump in and they start making trades, right? Do you see how this goes? You always want to be able to make those big moves first. Make the big move first. And then when retail comes back, when the normal crowd of people who jump in and jump out every day, when they come back, then take your hands off of it and be like, all right, now let's let it do its thing, because that's when the volatility is going to enter the market. Now that people are coming back, guys, this is when volatility is going to pick up. This is when liquidations are going to pick up. This is when the lizard people who sitting there waking up this morning like, what the hell's going on? They see the price up. They start licking their eyeballs like, oh, no. We can't let that happen. We can't let people win, right? This is a moment where you start to see all this weird shit start. You don't want to be involved with this right now. We got in, we killed it, we made our money, we got out. We just wait. And now listen, I'm not saying got out in the sense that I sold everything. Of course not. I have a long-term portfolio. I leave those bags alone. I have forever bags. I have bags that I bought and I'm leaving those alone forever. I mean, got in and got out in the sense we got in, made our trades, made our trading money, got out, let this market relax. See what happens, and we'll execute the next time that we have an opportunity. And that's how you have to be able to do it. You don't have to be trading every day. And I don't trade during this shit. I leave it alone, okay? And if you don't believe me that there's going to be a lot of volatility picking up, look at liquidation maps, guys. Look at liquidation maps. What you can see on the liquidation map is that on the short term, there's more liquidations that will occur if the price goes to the downside. On the midterm, roughly, there's more liquidations that will occur if the price goes to the downside. But on the long term, there's more liquidations that will occur if the price goes up, with a lot of them still being to the downside. What does that mean? That means there's liquidations everywhere. There are people who will get liquidated up, down, around, behind you. I said inside you. That's not what I meant. But what you can see is that the crypto market is in a very, very precarious spot right now. And if you start going crazy and you start trading right now, you're going to likely get trapped some way or another, because the market's going to go down and down and whatever it's going to do, shit's going to get weird. And then we're going to have to adjust. So don't play the game. Sit back and wait. This is not the time to be executing on anything crazy when it comes to Bitcoin, okay? When it comes to Bitcoin. So that's the Bitcoin play. That's the Bitcoin strategy. I am going to likely make a full video later today explaining to you exactly this Bitcoin strategy again. So don't worry. If you're feeling a little bit confused, watch the stream a couple of times, then watch the video I post later. Nothing to worry about. But with that in mind, let's move over to altcoins, because something is about to happen. So, or something did just happen, which is extremely good. So as you all know, when it comes to the world of altcoins, I've told you all consistently that you needed to be very careful of this here. This is called a double top, okay? This is called a double top. And double tops are very bearish patterns here in the world of crypto. And this double top specifically had a breakdown target to $1.28 trillion, meaning that when Bitcoin, or that when the altcoin market fell below this yellow box right here, and that's the chart we're looking at, by the way. This is the altcoin market as a whole. When the altcoin market lost this yellow box, it opened up the door for a move back up toward, or back down towards $1.28 trillion. But that's not what the altcoin market did. What happened with the altcoin market is that it fell, it bounced back up, it started to recover, and it has now officially, as of right now, broken back above the golden zone. So if you're an altcoin holder, this is one of the best signs, one of the best things that could have possibly happened for the altcoin market. Because when I've noticed the altcoin market, altcoins, Bitcoin, crypto in general, what I've noticed that when they're capable of breaking back above the mid-level support of the double top, which is this, right? You got resistance, You got MLS, mid-level support. When the price is capable of breaking back above the MLS, you usually start to cancel out the effects of the double top that should then now stop us from having to come back down towards $1.28 trillion. And even if the altcoin market does pull back a little bit here, maybe even as low as this, I think it's well within reason that we have now started to cancel out this breakdown target. And now we're on a fresh slate. Now we have a bit of a fresh slate that could be opening us up for a move towards the upside. That could be a move for the altcoin market to start trying to rally. The other side of things is that obviously this could be the start of some sort of downward trend for the altcoin market, right? Maybe the altcoin market is just going to casually trend downwards a little bit. Maybe it's going to start to make a move like that, right? Where it starts to come back down. Who knows? I don't know. That's not the point. The point is this move that we made today has canceled out the breakout target of this double top, which was one of the best things that the altcoin market could have possibly done. Now, at the same time that the altcoin market's done that, it's also creating what many consider to be an Adam and Eve pattern. Other people consider it to be a cup and handles pattern. I don't really care what you call it. It looks like the same thing to me, but it's this move here. You see this low and then this higher low that's much smaller, and then they obviously top out at this resistance line. This is either called an Adam and Eve, okay, or cup and handle. I don't know what that is. There we go. Cup, whatever, cup and handle. You get the point. But the whole point about it is this is a bullish structure, okay? And historically speaking, when a crypto creates a structure that looks like this, typically you will start to see that crypto start to reverse really hard, and it can start to really try to send it. And that would imply that we could very, very possibly see the altcoin market starting to try to give us gains. Now, there is an official breakup target of this pattern, which would be the depth of the pattern itself applied to the top of it. So that would give us a break up target back up towards 1.56 trillion for the altcoin market, which would be a gnarly little run here of about 7%, which would lead most alts up anywhere from 15 to 20%. That is very possible, but I'm not going to go and say that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a card that's on the table. And all of these things do just make it much more likely that the altcoin market doesn't need to absolutely crash. It's still a possibility. And that's something I don't want you to get me wrong on. It is still a possibility. It's just less likely. Okay, it's just less likely. Now, you may say, Tyler, why is it a possibility? Well, the reason it's a possibility is because the crypto market does like to move in three ways. It does like to move in three ways. It does like to move downwards, especially in three ways. And what could very possibly be happening right now is that the crypto market is making this move. Wave number one, wave number two, wave number three. This is still a threat. This is on the table. 25% chance. I'll say 1 in 4 times this happens. So there is still a threat. The reason why you hear me sounding bullish, though, the reason I still sound optimistic is because when the crypto market, the altcoin market fell below this gold zone, there was like a 70% chance we continued to fall back to 1.2. Like a 70, 80% chance. And the crypto market defied the odds. Now, did it have some help from the jobs market, obviously, and the increased likelihood of a rate cut in September? Sure, of course. But it still defied the odds. And so, yes, there is still a threat that we pull back towards the downside, but it's just less likely now than it was before. And is that going to be the perfect combination that the lizard people need to liquidate all of us and manipulate the market? Sure, maybe that happens. And if the altcoin market wants to crash to 1.28 trillion after canceling out this breakdown target, well, so be it. We can't help it anyway. But at least in the meantime, we can feel some sort of optimism in knowing that we are canceling out the likelihood of this move towards the downside. And the altcoin market has a better shot now of being able to push up towards some of these higher levels over the next coming weeks and months than it did last week. And that, in my opinion, is something that's worth being somewhat happy about, okay? And so when it comes to the altcoin market, what are we looking for? Well, the truth is, at this given point, it is just going to come all the way down now to the golden zone. What you can see is that the altcoin market is now approaching the golden zone as we speak, and this golden zone is going to decide it all. If the altcoin market gets rejected off the golden zone, it easily could go down for that C wave or that third wave, that third leg down. It depends on how you see it. Some people do call this the A, the B, and then the C, but obviously that would typically imply that we are following Elliott's wave theory. I'm not in this situation or this instance because there is not a fully rational 5-wave up that would justify this size of a third wave down or 3-wave down, but I would just literally just call this a 1, 2, 3, right? There is the possibility that this does happen. Okay, that is a card that's on the table. So you need to be careful. I think what would be more likely is that if we do get rejected, we'd see the altcoin market come back down, try to find that higher low again for more of a macro sense, and then try to break back above it. I think that's much more likely, especially as we get closer to that rate cut in September. I think that does, the likely rate cut in September. I think that's much more of a likely scenario, but this is a possibility, so it is something to watch out for. And so this means that Sorry, I read a weird comment. But what this means is that for the altcoin market right now, what we're looking for is the golden zone, 1.5 trillion. The altcoin market gets above 1.5 trillion, guys, it opens up the door for a move up towards 1.62, 1.71 trillion. I mean, we could be talking about beautiful gains here from the altcoin market of 10, 15%. That looks like Ethereum pushing up 10, 15%, but alts pushing up anywhere from 20, 30%. A full-blown run here in the altcoin market. That definitely could happen if we do see the altcoin market break above this golden zone. So what you're going to notice me talk about a lot, especially over the next couple days and weeks, is this golden zone for the altcoin market. If we can get above it, we're in a great spot. If we get rejected off of it, it's not a big deal. We just need to see the altcoin market being able to come back down, find some support, and use that support to push back up. Like there's a world in which we come all the way back down to say 1.38, then we try to push off that bottom side golden zone above this top side golden zone. So I'll keep you updated, but at the end of the day, this is the story looks the same, right? If I'm an altcoin holder, I'm not buying, I'm not going long, I'm not doing any of that because we're sitting directly below a massive zone of resistance. What we need to see is whether or not it can break this resistance point and open that door to the upside. Because right now, this is a huge wall of resistance, and buying right below it or longing right below it, it's just a very risky thing to do, I would say, for no reason. Especially if you are accumulating on alts anywhere down here like we were, there's really no need to be doing any big buys right now. Let this play out if you're an altcoin holder, and then we'll go from there. And so we're entering back into a period for Bitcoin and for altcoins where we are kind of going back in a wait and see approach, but I think that's the best thing to do. We hit the market, we got in fast, we got in, made our money, got out. And so now we can we have the luxury of sitting back and watching. If the market dumps, guess what? We made so much profit over the last couple days and couple days. Now we can go back in and just re-inject some of that cash, scoop the lows and do it again. If the market pumps, well, guess what? We still have those long-term bags open where we can just take profit off the table as it goes higher and higher. It's really a win-win for us. The question is what happens, and that's what we're trying to figure out. So in the meantime, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is just let this crypto market play out. See if it's going to bounce off this resistance back downward. See if we're going to break through it. See if Bitcoin's price is capable of breaking up through this descending channel or not. And it'll tell us everything that we need to know over the coming days and weeks about what to do next. So with that in mind, let me just rapid fire some of our favorite cryptos here in the market, just so you can see how this applies to our individual cryptos, starting off with Ethereum. So what you can see is that Ethereum's price is absolutely sent in. I told you guys very, very specifically that if ETH's price